organization became Planned Parenthood in 1942. The organization remained committed to serving low-income immigrant women with a sliding scale payment policy. Today, approximately 1 in 5 women in the U.S. visit Planned Parenthood, and 3/4 of those women are low-income.
Low income. That's important, because I know the left likes to play identity politics. There is a Holocaust of black Americans. Planned Parenthood set up deliberately in black communities. A black baby in the United States right now has about the same statistical chance of being born as they do aborted. This was by design. This was by targeting. From Margaret Sanger, a noted racist. Let's see if they get to that.
Margaret worked with civil rights leaders, immigrant women, and black communities, but also aligned herself with eugenicists. It doesn't seem to make sense. But way back in the early 20th century, eugenics was an immensely popular social movement, one with the kind of widespread legitimacy Margaret craved for her own birth control campaign. Let's make something clear. Racism and ableism do not have a place at Planned Parenthood, and sure as hell don't represent the organization's commitment to equality. Well, there's no question that Margaret left behind a conflicting legacy. It's also true that she was a champion
Okay,
of
pause.
progress.
We want to exterminate the Negro population. I know some of you will get mad, say, well, there's more context. We don't want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population.
Some would argue that makes it worse.
Let's provide more context. Just to be fair, we should hire 3 or 4 colored ministers. They didn't get the memo, people of color, preferably with social service backgrounds and with engaging personalities. We don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. LouderWithGutter.com for all of these sources. Let me read some more from you as far as what she viewed. Remember, abortion, safe, legal, and rare was the mantra. Our objective is unlimited sexual gratification without the burden of unwanted children. Women must have the right to live, to love, to be lazy, to be an unmarried mother, to create, to destroy. Not as cozy as you thought. Let's go to her final quote here. As an advocate of birth control, I wish to point out that the unbalance between the birth rate and the unfit and the fit can never be rectified in the inauguration of a cradle competition between these two classes. In the matter, the example of the inferior classes, the fertility of the feeble-minded, the mentally defective, the poverty-stricken classes, should not be held up for emulation. On the contrary, the most urgent problem today is how to limit and discourage the over-fertility of the mentally and physically defective. For those of you who don't know, read her writing. She saw black people as mentally and physically defective compared to white people.
Patients meet fierce resistance from Planned Parenthood and the Satanists, who seek to expand abortion services in Missouri. Despite strict pro-life regulations, Missouri has tripled its abortion capacity since the summer of 2016, when the first anti-abortion bills passed the Missouri State Assembly. The Satanic Temple battles the regulations, saying abortion restriction violates its members' right to free religious practice.
So we just have 7 tenets, and they're rather humanistic and straightforward. They're the third tenet that states the body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone, and that we should defer to scientific fact the best we can. Those have really been the basis of our claims against abortion restriction.
Satanic Temple has been involved in lawsuits opposing pro-life laws for years in Missouri, claiming they are fighting for women's rights. However, Satanism has a long history of child sacrifice, which can be traced back to the pre-Christian cult of Baal. Also known as Moloch and Beelzebub, or Lord Baal, this ancient deity is associated with the devil. Parts of ancient Palestine and Carthage practiced the cult of Baal, which was ultimately wiped out by the Israelites and the Roman military, ending gruesome practices of mass murder of children. Today, worshippers of Satan are backing a wider expansion of Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics, which falls in line with their practices.
Planned Parenthood Black community tweeted this morning, if you are a black woman in America, it's statistically safer to have an abortion than to carry a pregnancy to term or give birth. Hashtag scary stats. Safer for whom? The baby who dies? The mother who is a mother but now has a dead baby? The black community, where in some places over 50% of pregnancies end in abortion? What are you talking about? This sounds to me like Planned Parenthood is telling black women not to have babies. Planned Parenthood is trying to scare black women into having abortions by telling them they'll die if they try to give birth. Well, that's very empowering, isn't it? You know who else peddled a similar message telling black women not to have babies? Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood. Well, you look at that coincidence. Margaret Sanger's goal? Eliminating black people. That's right. The founder of Planned Parenthood was a eugenicist. Birth control, said Margaret Sanger, must lead ultimately to a cleaner race. We don't want the word to get out, Sanger said, that we want to exterminate the Negro population. So let me ask you this. Why are the only people making a fuss about this tweet conservatives? Where are the liberals who claim to champion black people and the most vulnerable among us? The most vulnerable among us are unborn babies, and Planned Parenthood is telling black women to kill them. You pro-choice, pro-woman activists, you talk about racism in our healthcare system, yet you abort 292,000 black babies every year. A black baby is aborted every 108 seconds all day long, every week of the entire year. You talk about black women being targeted and excluded because of their race, but 79% of Planned Parenthood's surgical abortion clinics are within walking distance of minority neighborhoods. Those clinics are intended to target minority women. 17 million black babies have been aborted since 1973. The current population of black people in America is only 42 million. I'd say Margaret Sanger's goal of eliminating black people through abortion is working. Only now it's 2017, and Planned Parenthood pretends they're champions of women's health, and $500 million of our tax money subsidizes their abortion business while they continue the legacy of Margaret Sanger in trying to exterminate black people through abortion.
Zero profit on any fetal tissue donations.
You are reimbursed for what costs?
Simply costs of preservation, transfer,
If we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, it's all just a matter of line items.
That would be $100 per specimen. 50 specimens per day would be $5,000 per day that Planned Parenthood was collecting from fetal tissue. Extrapolate that, $120,000 per month. That is certainly not recouping cost.
In terms of areas that I can contribute to the organization, both locally and nationally, is diversification of revenue streams. Well, so under the scope of where we probably have an edge over other organizations, our organization has been doing research for many, many, many years. And we've had studies in which the company, or in the case of the investigator, has a specific need for a certain portion of the products of conception, and we bake that into our contract and our protocol that we follow this. So we deviate from our standard in order to do that. Telling you this so then we can get creative about when and where and under what conditions can we interject something that is specific to the tissue procurement needs.
Sorry, that goes to my perfect for my next. Can you get creative? Can you alter if we say we need a liver?
Or not just liver, thymus, but let's say neural tissue is
very difficult
because could you adjust the procedure?
That would be a good thing. Is that possible? Yeah, let me see. That one's probably frozen.
What we're looking for is like a visual baseline of like intactness and everything, and just so that we know like
intact they are. Right. Yeah,
so like on a typical day, like kind of what that looks like, and then
it varies like based on gestation. Sometimes they come out really intact. Do you want to do? You're not gonna see nothing intact today, because the way we collect the tissue, it all gets collected into one container. You know what? Is it cremation?
What was the latest case that you did today?
The latest case we did today was a 5-week and 3 days. No. 20. It was a 20. I know what you mean. 20 station age. And that was one of the very first ones. So I'm assuming that one could almost be frozen.
So we're oftentimes looking for liver and thymus are two of the most in demand.
Yes.
Excellent.
And
focusing on this. Sean, can you help me out? I think this is lung, right? I don't
Yes,
think this
that's
is kidney.
correct.
Yeah, these are lungs, because that's the trachea in the middle
Yes.
there.
These are. So the intestines right here. Right here. See?
Yeah.
This comes out, like I said, the organs come out really, really well because you can see all the intestines pretty much almost like
And this is
intact.
the big placenta right here.
Yes.
Do you ever see thymus?
In this case is really local. Whenever we do like the 20 to 22 weekers, we do. You get a lot better.
But it's difficult to find thymus at this gestation.
Yeah. What is the age range? This patient was like 18 weeks, I think.
Is this? This is limb. Okay, and this is like scapula.
Yeah.